Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Lyoto Machida to defeat Derek Brunson. And I'm here to talk about Brendan Allen versus Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva is 23-8, 33 years old, and he's giving up 2 inches of height and 2 inches of reach to 27-year-old Brendan Allen, who is 21-5. Really nice, extensive records for both guys, great resumes, and in addition to their experience, they bring finishes. You know, these guys have a lot of finishes. Just 4 decision victories for Brendan Allen, just 3 decision victories for Bruno Silva. And of course, when they bring their finishes, it's coming one way or the other. This is pretty much a striker versus grappler fight in terms of the finishing ability. You know, these guys are both versatile fighters. But I think in terms of finishes, it's going to go that way. Brendan Allen by submission or Bruno Silva by knockout. And to be honest, I'll give you my prediction here at the top. I'm siding with Brendan Allen. But it wouldn't surprise me to see anything here. Let's start with Brendan Allen. He's 21-5. 5 knockouts, 12 submissions, 4 decisions. He's much more of a submission artist. His 5 losses come 2 via knockout, 1 via submission, 2 via decision. And they're all to excellent fighters currently in the UFC. Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland knocked him out in the middle of round 2. Those are both in the UFC. And then outside the UFC, he lost by submission very early on in his career to Trevin Giles, and then lost 2 decisions to Eric Anders and Fluffy Hernandez, which was a 5-round fight with that fucking monster. So he's only lost to excellent fighters throughout his career. It takes a real excellent fighter to get Brendan Allen out of there. And he's got some beautiful victories as well. He's on an extensive winning streak here, although it does include that Jacob Malkoun fight, which, you know what, I thought he won, but it was very close. Could have easily gone the other way. The Andre Muniz fight is his most recent victory, and that's his best performance in the UFC, submitting that guy and doing it deep into the fight. That was just an incredible victory. Brendan Allen, he's also gotten Christoph Jocko out of there. That was a beautiful submission. Really great control, Brendan Allen. He's a guy that, when he's on top, he is suffocating. And he also forces openings by having great ground and pound, really deadly ground and pound. You know, and that's, again, only due to his control. Once he gets those legs in from anywhere, he's a very controlling fighter. We've also seen him bang on the feet, of course. You know, he's got Sam Alvey, rocked him around. The Punahale Soriano fight's the best example of his striking, though. That was a real showcase, and Brendan Allen showed he's got one nasty body kick. You know, I feel like that thing can put anybody away. And Bruno Silva, he's going to be the striker in terms of the finishing ability in this fight, although I do think Brendan Allen could knock him out. Bruno Silva's never been knocked out, though. Gerald Meerschaert came very close, very, very close at the end of that fight, but then 4 seconds later, it became a submission victory because he's Gerald Meerschaert, and he had a neck hanging out in front of him. But Bruno Silva, on paper, despite getting almost knocked out by Gerald Meerschaert, his chin is impeccable. He's got 8 losses, 6 by submission, 1 by DQ, which was an illegal kick or whatever the fuck. And then the other loss is a decision loss to Alex Pereira. He lost a decision to that guy. And he was really durable in that fight, has always proven to be very durable. The 6 submission losses, I brought this up in my last video about him, they're to excellent submission artists. They may not be the best fighters in the world, or they're all very good fighters, though, but they are particularly very good submission artists. These are their submission records in MMA. How many sub wins versus sub losses? 27-8 for Gerald Meerschaert. 12-1 Moisey Rimbone. This guy Casio is 13-0. His nickname is Jacare. Felipe Oliveira, 6-1. Isaac Almeida, 7-1. And Rodrigo Carlos, 11-3. These guys are really, really good submission artists. My point is, it takes a certain pedigree to get him out of there. Bruno Silva's not just some shit grappler. I know on paper it looks like it because he's got 0 submission victories and 6 submission losses. Speaking of submission records. But I still think, despite him being maybe underrated in that regard, Brendan Allen meets these standards. He's got 12 submission wins, 1 submission loss, being the Trevin Giles. And I do think if Brendan Allen wins its fight, it's going to be by submission. It is going to be by submission. He is just that deadly. And, you know, when things are going well for him, they go really well. He's just got that offensive prowess and that great control. I think there's a great chance he puts Bruno Silva away. And on the flip side, if Bruno Silva beats Brendan Allen, I'm pretty sure it's going to be by knockout. Even though Allen's only been knocked out by 2 guys, Bruno Silva brings that danger level that is insanely high. Again, 20 knockout wins and his 23 losses. He's just, when things go well for him, it ends with his opponents unconscious and having their faces smashed in. We've seen it, you know, whatever, a few times at the UFC level. Jordan Wright, Andrew Sanchez, Wellington Turman knocked him out on the ground. And no better than Brad Tavares, though, have we seen it. In his last fight, he knocked Brad Tavares out, just smashed him with a perfect knee. You know, you can look good against Bruno Silva, but when he looks good, it's over. So I really think this fight will end by finish. I was looking for the prop bets. They're not available yet, but expect me to look into things like that. Submission wins for Allen, Bruno Silva to get knockout wins. The over-under is set at 1.5 rounds. It's plus money for the under, but I actually think the over is the smarter play. But whatever. I'm waiting for the props. I want to see positive money. And overall, though, as far as who's going to win, I've got Brendan Allen winning. So I played his money line at minus 180. Brendan Allen is very formidable on the feet. If I'm wrong about the submission or knockout thing there, Brendan Allen can definitely knock out Bruno Silva. He can be, you know, Gerald Meerschaert almost got it done. Brendan Allen is a violent, big, strong striker, and he can throw. And, you know, I think he's just a very dangerous guy. And as far as who wins the points battle, if it did go to a decision, pretty sure Brendan Allen wins that as well. So I really like Brendan Allen's money line. It's now at minus 180. I still like that. And that's how I see the fight playing out. I'll wait for those prop bets because this is one where I can isolate paths to victory for each fighter, knockout and submission. And I will call myself out on it in the beginning of the video on Sunday when I'm wrong and this fight ends via split decision. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit, and check out my other videos.